Hi, I'm Liz Lumley from Finextra, and we're here at the Monetize event looking at m-commerce, what consumers want from financial institutions. And I'm speaking to Sandra Alzetta of Visa Europe. You just came off a panel looking at a lot of the themes that we talked about this morning, and you made a number of points to a number of questions that banks need to offer payment apps that are both secure and also easy to use. Now that's kind of simple to say, but why is that such a challenge for banks?
So I'm quite clear, a mobile banking app will fail unless it's both easy and engaging from the perspective of the consumer. We've seen so many examples of functionality that's really very exciting but too difficult, and what we're interested in is mass adoption, so it has to be easy. It's just such a fundamental. It also has to be engaging. There has to be a reason as a consumer why I'd want to use this. It has to mean something to me personally. Underneath that, there's the fundamental requirement of security. Now, as a consumer, I want to know it's secure, but I don't want it to add barriers. And that's the challenge to banks. It's not easy, I realise it's not easy, but that's the challenge that banks have to really recognise and to make sure that they're serving. And coupled with that, also very important is education of consumers. Really letting consumers know that here's something, this is why it's interesting for them, this is why it's easy. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened because it's not hard, but also don't be frightened because actually it is secure. That trust element is fundamental.
You also talked about different types of payments mechanisms, saying that Visa Europe wasn't exclusive to any one type of payment, but you made a comment that you were very interested in NFC, or near-field communication, which has often been joked about as not for commerce. So, where does Visa Europe see NFC? Why are you so interested in it?
So Visa is very interested in the use of mobile at the physical point of sale. Why is that? First of all, we love plastic, of course. We've done fantastically well with plastic. But the reason that we're so interested in mobile is because we know that it can add real value to a consumer. So having a device that you have with you all the time, that you have a real attachment to, but which is highly interactive, so it can give you additional information, you can ask it questions, is obviously a huge value add. So if we believe that, if we believe in that fundamental, then we have to think about how do we make that a reality. I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all in terms of the use of mobile at the point of sale, but I have a particular interest in the use of NFC. And the reason for that is quite simple. I believe that today there is nothing that I've seen that provides a better consumer experience, just in terms of the ease of use, the simplicity from a consumer's perspective. Also, from a retailer point of view, retailers have invested in EMV terminals, so this is a very simple upgrade to those terminals. And as they're buying replacement POS devices, they're tending now to become fitted with a dual interface, both the contact and the contactless. So that infrastructure is now developing itself in a very positive way. So for those reasons, I have a real belief in a future that includes the use of NFC payments at the point of sale. It's not easy, I recognise that, but if I believe in the two fundamentals of it has a real strong resonance for consumers and retailers, then I believe it will be successful.
Again, you mentioned that you weren't, exclusive to any one payment mechanism. You mentioned the contactless payments at Transport for London with the buses and the underground. But when will we see the tipping point for the use of NFC in payments?
So the stepping stone towards mobile NFC payments is actually starting with cards. Sounds a bit old-fashioned, but it's actually very important. And it's important for two key reasons. One is we need to have a large network of retailers and interesting retailers who accept contactless, and that's the same terminal whether we're talking about plastic cards or mobile devices. And retailers, they have to make choices. They'll invest very carefully. They'll only make investments if they believe that they'll see a mass movement towards the use of this new type of payment technology. And the way that we can make that happen is by having millions of consumers using contactless terminals. Cards is a way to do that. So in the UK, we've made a major focus on having our banks making available to their cardholders cards that are dual interface, that work also from a contactless perspective. We've got over 27 million cards now in circulation, and across Visa Europe we're at 63 million cards. That helps retailers to make the investment that we want them to make, to have, to upgrade their terminals.